All right, everybody. We're very sorry for the wait, but we are finally ready to get this race going. Hello, you are watching Speed Gaming, and this is the Mega Man 5 speedrunning tournament. And we will be your commentators. My name is Tempest Mask 1000, and joining me is Warren Traveler. And today's race will be against Kumba and Ppotdot1. So, with that in mind, both runners have been ready for quite a while. Let's get this show on the road. What say you, Warren?
Let's do it.
All right, then. I will initiate a countdown, and then both runners shall be heading off. So, uno momento. All right, and we should be off in just a bit. And they're off. All right, so welcome to Mega Man 5. This game is the 5th entry of the series, obviously, within the NES lineup. And when it comes to speedrunning this game, the path is usually set within any percent where all runners are going to start off with Starman. And the reason why we do this is because, well, we have a special weapon that is acquired by beating this boss, the Super Arrow. And the Super Arrow is absolutely useful for all transportation needs, but of course one thing to keep in mind is that it does have a little bit of limited ammo to it, but we'll get into a little bit more detail with that once we get to that part. So far though, we are in Starman stage itself, and due to the low gravity and sorts, the runners will have to manage their way around the stage while trying to avoid those insta-death spikes that can sometimes get in the way. I know it unfortunately has for myself, but with that, Ppot and Kumba are so far doing a pretty dang good job working their way around. Now, throughout the game, there are these slight manipulations. Of course, one of the things that they're trying to manipulate here is the prevention of on-screen lag due to the sprite limit of the NES, and mostly carried out through the busting of enemies. Ppot has already entered the Starman boss, and how this fight is going to work is the runners want Mega Man to charge up and then try to position him so that he shoots within Starman's star shield and getting the damage nice and fine, just like that. And Ppot has cleared the fight, and now we want to see if he will get the gravity skip or not. It seems as though he did not go for it, but that's perfectly fine. Meanwhile, Kumba has just finished his fight, and we'll see if he gets it. He got it. No,
he did.
All right, so how that skip works is whenever you defeat Starman, you want Mega Man to do these small leaps, and if done right, it will prevent the sort of slow jump up that causes him to slowly fall back down and treats gravity as normal. Now, both runners have acquired their first weapon, the Star Shield, or Star Crash, and will now be moving on to Gravity Man stage with said Super Arrow. And this is where the stage gets a little interesting with the mechanic to alter gravity, where you'll see Mega Man flipping up and down like so, and meanwhile they'll be using that super arrow to get across a couple of portions of the stage pretty quickly. So how that super arrow works is it's both a projectile but also something that Mega Man can stand on. Unfortunately, the ammo drains quickly whenever he is standing on the arrow, but the arrow itself is still usable as long as there's one bit of ammo within the bar. The arrow does use 2 points, however, at a time, so that's something to keep in mind. But after this stage, we will be seeing the runners try to do a little conservation strats to try and get at least a little bit of ammo to perform some further travels. So far, so good. Warren, if you would like to explain why they are collecting those letters right now.
So, in each of the Robot Masters levels in this game, there is a letter. Rockman, well, in the case it'd be 7 letters and 1 number, actually, or Roman numeral, depending if you're playing the Japanese or non-Japanese version. I guess it'd be the American version. And if you get all 8 of those, you get access to Beat, a bird that will fly in and hit your opponents and enemies for you. Now, you may have noticed Kumba did not get the letter icon / tile in Starman stage, so he's probably planning on going beatless.
Indeed he is. Kumba is... See, as someone who previously had the honor of facing Kumba, he did indeed go beatless for both races, and as a result, we will definitely expect to see that happening. Kumba's a pretty dang good player when it comes to that, and we will expect to see him perform a trick when we get to Crystal Man. But for now, both runners have received the gravity hold and will now be entering Gyro Man stage. But yeah, Warren, if you'd like to continue with the Beat explanation.
Sure. So, Beat essentially makes a couple of the boss fights easier. Some of the Darkman robots, and of course the Wily capsule at the end of the game. He does more damage, too, I believe, than any weapon could do to the Wily capsule, and has the advantage of hitting it pretty much anywhere on the screen. He also has a chance of missing as well, which can be problematic because his energy drains fast like pretty much everything in this game. Later on in the series, Beat does other things, but in here he's pretty much just a homing missile for you.
Yeah, more or less. And with that, though, I want to mention that with the conservation strats that we were seeing Kumba and Ppotdot do here, so because the super arrow drains a lot more ammo when Mega Man is standing on it, apparently it doesn't drain as much if his collision is sort of wobbling, if you will, where both runners are continuously walking to the right as the arrow is moving, and because of that, well, it conserves a little bit of ammo. Now, it can still run out in the process, but if done right, this prevents them from having to get any refills if need be, and still saves some time with whatever arrow shots remain. So now we've entered the Gyro Man fight, and the idea is that since Gravity Hold is a screen-clearing weapon, the idea is just to get the pattern right, which Ppotdot did perfectly, and make sure that for each hit that it works on Gyro Man, they do not trigger the weapon during the iframes. We're going to see Kumba do that in just a moment. But otherwise, the next stage coming up is indeed Crystal Man. Let's see if Kumba gets... Yep, no misfires. Perfect Gyro Man fight for both runners. And so coming up is Crystal Man's stage. Now, almost right away, we're going to supposedly see Kumba pull off the Crystal Skip, a technique that is going to abuse a kind of memory overflow that will warp him to the first room from the first room to the boss corridor. Now, because this trick prevents you from getting the beat letter, this is very exclusive to beatless, but if done right, this can is like the single largest save time save within the beatless route. So let's see if Kumba gets it. Meanwhile, Ppotdot is just trying to traverse the stage, and there is an opportunity to get an M-Tank along the way, which should come in handy. Otherwise... Oh, well, there's also the E-Tank right there. Most runners usually get that, especially if done for a marathon setting. And there's the M-Tank. So Nakumba has just left the stage, and now this is perfectly normal. We just need to see if he gets the nip right. I apologize if I'm stuttering here and there, by the way. I'm trying to work things as we go along. As you can see, both runners are definitely making things working their magic and stuff like that, and so on. Ppotdot has entered the Crystal Man fight, and usually he always starts with the 4 crystal attack spawn, and Kumba has performed the skip correctly. He has now entered the boss corridor. Nicely done. But yeah, to continue my explanation, both runners usually have Mega Man take the damage within the crystal shot and then run into the projectiles, because this is another lag clearing technique, and then use the gyro attack to manipulate it into Crystal Man's direction. Whenever you shoot a horizontal shot, you can then hit up or down and it will change that direction. And then both runners will now move on to Napalm Man. So Warren, if you'd like to take over from here.
Sure. So Napalm Man stage is interesting. It's fun, but a lot of things hurt you. Those tigers can really bang you up a lot. There's some nasty missile traps later on too. Again, just a lot of this is just being good movement. These spike traps here that are rushing toward you, they kill you in one hit, like pretty much anything Spike does. And so you want to watch out for that, and they can come kind of fast if you're not watching. So this waterfall here looks really nice. I believe it acts as a sort of conveyor though, and kind of pushes you somewhat. It definitely slows you down. Arrows here from Dot. If we're just going to go over this area here with the spikes and the missile guy. Got to make sure you get down here and get that N. Alright, so we got the tools there and the machines. Okay, these missiles, if you actually shoot them, they will break apart and shrapnel will come at you. Or at least in your direction sometimes. Okay, here's the missiles I mentioned earlier. See, we're using gravity hold here to move some enemies and things like that. Works very well on flying enemies. So, getting ready to use Crystal Man's weapon here on Napalm Man. Crystal Man's weapon comes in a big size and a small size. Small size causes a bit of lag, of course, because it bounces around, kind of like Gemini Man's laser from Mega Man 3, except the lag's not nearly as bad. And there goes Napalm Man. He kept his distance, and so he got a lot of missiles, and he didn't have to dodge the bombs. Kumba is doing something with Rush Coil for some reason that I did not catch or not understand. Rush Coil is kind of weird in this game because he hops up with you when you jump on him instead of staying stationary like in previous and later games. So that's it for Napalm Man stage for I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, to be honest. Keep getting tongue tied up on those 2 P's there.
So Ppotdot1.
Okay.
I don't blame you. Some people have a tendency to slip up with that. That's perfectly understandable. But yeah, anyway, Kumba there we go, has just taken care of Napalm Man. And now both runners are entering Stone Man. Now this can arguably be that one stage that causes a bit of trouble. It all depends on how things go. It's just little frustrations for the most part, but as you might notice, for instance, the Mets, when destroyed, turn into these 3 baby Mets that can jump on you. We also have some enemies like the robotic rats and the boulder tossing fellas right over there. I unfortunately cannot seem to remember their proper name, but yeah.
I don't know him either. I need to look that up. I need to get myself better educated on that. And I don't know if it's me, but this stage seems a bit longer than the other ones, and maybe that's something with Mega Man and cave-like levels outside of Guts Man, where just the levels seem to be a bit longer for some reason, but it might just be me.
Right. And I'm not sure if I might have missed that, but I'm pretty sure Pot took care of Squeaks. That's just a name for a little annoying mouse along that hall where there was at least a few of them. But, yeah. Good for him. And it looks like Goomba might... Yep, Goomba also just took care of Squeaks right there. Good on them both.
Yes, that mouse is annoying. You might notice excuse me, notice on Ppot's stream there is a there are several floor/wall areas you can destroy in this level. One of them gives you the letter, another will give you an M tank if you don't have it, and I forget what's in the third one. So that was Stone Man. He has several jump heights. You want him to do low jumps, because if he does a high jump, he's going to go into the ground. Thankfully, he's pretty easy to juggle around with those napalm bombs, and he goes down pretty quickly.
All right. So, Ppot has just acquired the Power Stone, which is probably one of the weirdest weapons of the game. It's Charge Man's weakness, yes, but we'll explain a bit more of the properties once we get to that fight. Let's see if Goomba manages to get a nice happy stone pattern where we definitely just want mostly jumps and less crumbles. I'd say that was pretty well done. And with Charge Man's stage, right now we have a couple of train sections. Ppot managed to get the good arrow where if you're a little bit off, you can potentially get knocked off of the... no thanks to that flying robot there. And now here's the chicken room where runners are going to presumably use Crystal Eye. I know Ppot is right now, and part of this is because the chickens seem to... I do believe it's because the chickens seem to take enough damage thanks to the Crystal Eye as compared to some of the other weapons anyway. Otherwise, we have some Met trains that go down very easily, but you have to wait for them to suddenly pop up, and when they do, they shoot out this little triple spread shot. Otherwise, Ppot is pretty much one room away from the boss corridor, just gotta get past this big guy. Meanwhile, Goomba has just entered the chicken room, not too far behind himself. And so here's Charge Man, and how the strat works is Power Stone, because there are 3 rocks that fly in this particular counterclockwise pattern. The idea is for all the rocks that miss, pausing can get rid of them, eat them instantly, and so the idea is just to try and make sure that you get as much damage onto Charge Man as possible. Whenever he does the charging, though, or I believe it's the smokestack shot, he becomes invincible, so that's something to watch out for. And Ppot seemed to take care of Charge Man and quite alright, and is now getting the Charge Kick, which is a weapon particularly assigned to Mega Man's Slide. A very unusual but interesting enough, and is also the weakness for the final Robot Master in the form of Wave Man here. And right now, Ppot will be... And right now, we have Goomba fighting Charge Man. Seems to be getting not so good a start with the Power Stone trying to hit Charge Man there. I can definitely attest that it's not an easy thing to do, for sure. But Goomba did take care of Charge Man, and now we'll see if Ppot is... Ooh. So what Ppot is gonna do is he's gonna try and use those super arrows to get up there. Oh. Up, wait, still got it. There we go. So that was bubble. I do believe that was the bubble skip right there. And hang on. So what Ppot was doing that right there was what he could have done was with those 3 arrows, he could have, if performed right, he could have skipped the cutscene trigger that would have forced him onto the vehicle right there. But it's also a very risky strat because what happens is if done incorrectly, it can soft lock the game, which is definitely not good. But if performed right, what this does allow Mega Man to do is he can move freely and fire freely while so it is preferred, or if it can be managed. So Kumba has entered that bubble room as well, and it does not look like he's using the super arrows to skip by it, but let's see if he tries to pull off. So we have the 3 arrows, and then it seems as though he decided to bail on it, probably for the better, because again, if messed up, it can soft lock the game, and both runners do want to avoid that. So Ppotdot has already taken care of the mini-boss halfway through from one room earlier, and has now entered the boss corridor. So coming up is Wave Man, and the charge kick is the weakness, but because Wave Man does not instantly die from it, Mega Man can still come at the risk of taking contact damage when he does charge into it, so the idea is just to try and be a little bit careful, if a little looking low for health, but Ppotdot managed just fine, and he has defeated all 8 Robot Masters, and now we will be moving on to the Darkman stages. And Warren, if you'd like to take over with that.
Sure, thank you. So there's 4 Darkman stages, and 3 of them are long, one of them's pretty short. Each level is capped off with a fight against a various form of a Darkman. So this first one here, as usual, we're going to start at the bottom of the fortress and work our way up. And we're going to have some tigers get in the way and things like that. And this one can have some rough sections in it. Not as bad as some of the other ones, I don't think, but... So first off, I said, we got a bunch of tigers here, then we're going to work our way up some. Okay, using some Rush Jet here. Rush Jet's kind of weird because he likes to go on an angle like that, and you got to kind of be ready for that. So we got this nice long room here. You got the missile droppers, and it's a lot of vertical here. Read some slides and stuff, and nice avoiding the missiles. Those things can hurt and bounce you back some. Now, we're probably going to see an arrow in here somewhere.
Yeah, and not to draw attention away from Kumba,
Maybe not.
He just cleared Wave Man, so he is now on his way to Darkman 1 as well.
Okay, so here's everyone's favorite appearing and disappearing blocks, and there they go. I don't think we see them for the rest of the game. And we're already at our first Darkman fight.
Yeah, kind of funny how that works, considering that I do believe it's the same situation with the Yoku blocks from Mega Man 6. Very interesting, honestly. But yeah, with Darkman 1, so the water wave is the effective weakness. Now you can only use that weapon on the ground, and because Darkman 1 is pretty much tank-like, want to avoid taking too much damage from him. Ppotdot was looking pretty low, but he did manage to clear out that fight with a bit of health left, so all is well. Meanwhile, Kumba is still within the longer chamber of Darkman 1, and is currently equipped to the Rush Jet, which I do believe. Well, no, I don't believe. I do know that unlike Rush Coil, it still retains the same properties as we would know of it from games before. So there is that.
Yeah, and the Dark Tank we saw that we're about to probably see again on Kumba, it kind of has 2 ways it likes to hurt you. It will try to run you over like a tank would, but also generally whenever you shoot at it, it shoots back. And I believe those bullets get a bit faster the less health it has, and that was good getting through that conveyor section there by Ppotdot. That can be a bit rough there. I usually use the gravity hold a lot there myself.
Indeed, and Kumba has just finished Dark 1. Nicely done. Meanwhile, Ppotdot is going through a slide section with a little bit of spikes there at the end, but no problem. We have some thumpers coming up. We saw some of these enemies earlier in Starman stage. These guys can get aggroed when you have the fire button being pressed and stuff, and they can be a little bit annoying due to how beefy they tend to be. So one thing that I didn't mention earlier was how the charge shot is pretty dang powerful in Mega Man 5. One thing it can do is that whenever it destroys an enemy, it will continue to persist until it either until it like either goes off screen or hits another enemy that isn't instantly destroyed by it. But it is definitely one of the more powerful charge shots known to classic Mega Man. And that right there was Ppotdot taking care of Darkman 2, putting Beat to use for the first time. And as you saw right there, Beat basically homed in on Darkman and was able to do damage, putting that little force shield to to shame right there.
Yeah, normally I guess normally is not the right word, but generally you could, I believe his other weakness would essentially be the crystal eye, and there might be one other there, but it doesn't do near as much damage as Beat does.
Righto. So Ppotdot has entered Dark 3. Now, meanwhile, Kumba is not that far away from the Dark 2 chamber. He has entered the Thumper room, taking a little bit of damage from the third one and the fourth right there just now. Meanwhile, Ppotdot is starting to use arrow strats for Dark 3. Nicely done. So Ppotdot should have 2 shots with the arrow right now, because as mentioned, and now he has one more, because as mentioned earlier, as long as you have 1 point of ammo, you can still use it. It seems, I'm not necessarily sure if you can skip past those spikes right there, but Ppotdot did manage to clear a decent chunk of that section there, which would normally be reserved for, say, Rush Jet. But yeah.
And he took a very timely damage boost too there right at the end. That enemy came up just in time there, because if not, he'd be back at the beginning of that. Actually, I think that puts you back at the beginning. I don't know, is there I know there's a checkpoint where he's at, right? I forget where the checkpoints are. Anyways, Kumba just got through Darkman 2, and this fight took a bit longer with that charge buster. So Beat saves time in some places, and yeah.
This is indeed true. It's definitely nice to see a bit of both routes coming into play, though. So Ppotdot is now in Darkman 3, and as you can see right there, he's gotten petrified a couple of times. So that little, those little Wendy-like rings a la Super Mario Brothers 3, if they hit Mega Man, he becomes stuck in place where he is, not unlike Flash Man. It can be pretty annoying, but Ppotdot managed to take care of Darkman 3, and we'll be moving on to the 4th stage, which is also arguably the shortest of the stages, or rather, definitely the shortest of the Darkman stages, because all Ppotdot needs to do is destroy these blocks that are holding up the room, and then he has a little bit to try and avoid taking a death to those spikes. Doing a great job so far. And he has entered, and he is now making his way to the boss chamber. So here is Ppotdot Man, who supposedly kidnapped Dr. Light, but that right there is the bona fide whistle of the real deal. And Kumba, real quick, Kumba just managed to perform the complete arrow skip just fine using those 2 arrows, and did not have to take the damage boost. Nicely done, Kumba. Meanwhile, Ppotdot taking on Darkman 4, because it turns out
Tempest? Not sure where you went. Anyway, so here's why we're playing on the Japanese version. There's text here, and I believe that if you're playing with English, it's an 18-second difference.
I would absolutely like to apologize for that interruption right there. It seems that my place has lost power again. You hate to see it, but do not worry, I'm still with you for now. So, Ppotdot has just finished the Dark 4 fight, while Kumba has just finished the Dark 3 fight. Nicely done. Warren, if you could please carry on.
Certainly. So we're heading in here. So Ppotdot's heading into Wily's castle. It's divided into 4 sections. 2 sections of action, a refight section, which may or may not take a while, and then a final short section where you face a Wily again. So like your typical Mega Man Wily's Fortress Castle, this thing likes to throw what you've seen at you before and add some new things. So we're gonna have a Crusher come up later, which for those that played Mega Man 4, remember Dustman, it's kind of like that. In fact, it's a lot like that. Except you don't have Ringman's weapon this time. But before we get there, we have to get through some conveyor wheels here, which Pot's doing with no problem with the super arrow. Excellent. Just slide on through here past these guys and head on up. Okay, some more conveyor. And now we're on to the Crusher. In one more screen we'll be onto the Crusher, I should say. Kumba is fighting with Darkman Four. Darkman, and he does not have beat, so he's doing this the old-fashioned way with the Buster. And Darkman 4 kind of just takes everything that the other 3 did, except he's not on treads, and I don't think he can freeze you, and he just shoots and shoots and shoots, and he's got that shield. Chicken skip for Pot. Excellent. I think that's chicken skip. So Kumba's getting the news that Proto Man did not kidnap Dr. Light, and then it was Dr. Wily all along. Gasp, surprise. Who would have seen that coming? So we're heading on to the first fight here in Wily 1, the Pez dispenser, or whatever its name is. So this boss cannot be hurt unless one of its 2 sections is disconnected. And if you notice, Ppotdot got himself in the upright corner there of the boss and was able to fire away a lot while the sections were heading back, able to do a lot more damage on him quickly than just hitting one section, shooting another section, and hitting him once or twice while in the air that way. Okay, Kumba's about to head into Wily 1 now, and Ppotdot's on the way to Wily 2. Wily 2 starts with a bit of a fall, then we go through an aquatic section with some water. It's not too bad, I don't think. And then we have a nice big long dry section. We'll see some more of those Mets that split into triplicate when you destroy them. Some other nasty little surprises here and there. Oh yeah, also these Mets over here have scuba gear on. I don't recall if they're anywhere else in the game with them. I don't think they are, but I could be wrong about that. So, let's see how Kumba's getting to some conveyor wheels, and he's using his M-Tank. The M-Tank refills everything. It's a great item. I wish they had it in the previous games, but they don't. And don't think they have it in 6 or the other ones later on. I haven't played 9 or 10 or 11, so don't quote me on that. So yeah, Kumba's just cruising on here past the, heading toward the Crusher, while Ppotdot's making his way pretty quickly through here and using another M-Tank. They are scattered throughout the game, and they're good to have. You can only carry one at a time, though. Okay, this guy here is a jerk. Good job avoiding him. This one's not so bad to avoid. So, this next boss coming up, the Floating Head of Doom, I forget its actual name, and I don't have chat up, so hopefully someone in there knows its name, because I don't. It has these shields on the side, these barricade/walls, and you can only hit it when they're open. Gyro Man's attack is its weakness. Send it through there, and he should go down pretty quickly. I think the amount of time he keeps it open might be a bit random, and he'll send balls at you on occasion, but it's not too bad of a boss. So I believe we have the refights coming next for Ppotdot. Now, are we going to see all the refights or just one of them? We'll have to see here. So meanwhile, Kumba is just finishing up Wily 1. Okay, so Ppotdot's going straight for Napalm Man. That means we're probably going to skip the Wily fights by using some super arrow tricks, because this game is great for that. Again, with Napalm Man, you want to not get too close to him all the time, so that way he does his missiles, which is faster than him launching bombs at you. Okay, we got a missile, we got an arrow, and he got it. Okay, we're at Wily Press.
Nicely done.
Yes, which is conveniently right next to Napalm Man, to the right of those teleporters there. So this is what you should be doing after you do all the refights. But well, we can just skip the rest. So there's two ways you can hit this guy, essentially. Starman's weapon is his weakness. Mega Buster is also somewhat effective. Is there a way to manipulate when Wily goes down and how many passes he does, or is it just completely random?
Afraid not. I'm afraid that's up to him, as far as I know, but...
Yeah, I've never been able to figure out any way to manipulate it either. I think it is pretty random. If someone knows better, please tell us.
That makes shit.
Okay, so Ppotdot's heading in for is in the final level. We just got one more walker to get past, and then it's the Wily Skull Tank, and then the Wily Capsule, and then that's the game. So,
Kumba, having taken care of, is about to head into the Circring C9 fight, I do believe that's the name, and having also taken care of Big Pets earlier. Wonderful boss name.
So the Skull Tank didn't last very long thanks to the Super Arrow. And now we're at the Wily Capsule, which is one of the easier Wily Capsules in the series, probably. Especially if you have Beat. If you don't have Beat, you probably want to use Gyro Attack on him, but that takes a while. It is possible to get... you just saw, it's possible to hit Wily twice there with Beat, but it's kind of up to Beat in some ways, and I guess for your own positioning, I've never been able to figure out too well myself. Sometimes Beat tracks where Wily goes, sometimes he just kind of hangs around and waits until he's not completely sure. It looks like, Ppotdot's finishing in style. Okay, so this is a best-of-3 race, and Ppotdot's just taking the first one, and I believe whoever ends up winning this entire match set will face Resisting Frame next, I believe, if I looked at the bracket correctly. So Kumba got the skip and is on his way, is fighting with a Wily press. I believe the press can go back and forth between 5, 7, 9 times, something like that. I believe it's an odd amount. And where he stops, you kind of don't really know until he opens up. And sometimes you got to move away, sometimes you just got to pop the thing, up over the spikes.
One thing to mention about the Wily Press fight is that you do want to avoid dying at all costs, because if you do, you respawn in the teleporter room and you're going to have to either perform the trick again, or if you're out of super arrow ammo, worst case, you got to take on all the bosses in order to get there.
I would say that's probably a good, what, 2-minute loss, something like that? Maybe 2.5, depending on how things go. Maybe less. I might be overestimating. It probably depends on it probably depends on your ammo count heading in too.
Right. Well, Kumba has just defeated the Wily Press and is now moving on to the final stage. So as mentioned, there's just a few enemies, including one final walker before the boss corridor, and then we got the Skull Tank, then the Capsule fight, and it's up. And then because Kumba is taking on the beatless route, we're just going to have to see how well he fares against the Doc himself. Alright, so starting off with Super Arrow. As mentioned earlier, it does function as a usable weapon, and it does so happen to be the tank's weakness. At least one of them, if I'm forgetting of another, but Kumba manages to take on that first phase and is now moving on to the Capsule fight. Kumba's in a bit of a dangerous position here, only has 1 point of health on him and no E-tanks to help him out here, so that could be a potential there could be a potential death if things go wrong even in the slightest. But as you see right there, Kumba is using gravity hold to flash the screen and help him determine where Wily is going to spawn next.
And that tells him then if he needs to use Gyro Attack or if he can use the Mega Buster. And point here too to mention, I believe there are no weapon pickups or E-Tanks in this stage at all, so you're stuck with what you have unless you game over. So he definitely needs to be careful. Though he seems to have it pretty well in hand so far. And there he goes.
And there we go. GG to both runners, but Ppotdot has taken the first round.
So I believe we're probably starting to get set up here for the next one at some point here. Tempest is taking care of that, I believe.
Yeah, I'm afraid I'm going to have to bow out of this one. But, Warren, I do believe you'll be able to take it from here.
Yeah, just give me one... I gotta run out for like 1 second here and get some more water, and then I will be good.
Right, no problem. All right, well, unfortunately, this is where I'm going to have to sign out. But best of luck to both runners for the next potential rounds. And until next time, this is Tempest Mask 1000 signing out. Good luck to Kumba, good luck to Ppotdot, and everyone enjoy the race.
Okay. So, let's see if the runners are ready here and what's going on. Right, I just need to get Tempest off the thing here. He's asked me to, so I'll figure out how to do that. I apologize for the hole up here. I'm trying to figure something out. I'm new to the system. Okay then. Just making sure our racers here are ready for our second race here. Okay, the countdown has begun, so we should be getting going here pretty soon. Okay, they're at the title screen. One thing we didn't mention before, you do not want to let this cutscene start. They're off. Apparently, if you let that opening cutscene play long enough, it can mess up your RNG and things like that, and maybe make it easier to fall off the arrow, which you don't want to do. So, once again, Starman stage, it's where you start. I don't think I've seen any Mega Man 5 run not start at Starman stage, except for a super early task which started at Gemini Man, so it could use the so the runner could use the rush jet and probably didn't know how good Super Arrow was at the time. So yeah, so again, Super Arrow, you want it. Starman's got it. It's fast. It helps you travel. It's great. Okay, again, Ppot's going for the. Gonna be using beat. Kumba skipping the letter there, so we know he's not. Gravity in this stage. Let's talk about gravity. So, you notice your jumps are kind of floaty here. It's because of, well, lack of gravity, perhaps. And this can come into play at the end. I believe it's every 3 frames it will give you a regular height jump, and every 2 frames this high gravity-like jump, which is great for getting over some of these enemies. Just, sometimes sliding just isn't as good. So here we are at Starman for Ppot, and Kumba's right on his tail. So with Starman, you want to hit him even as much as you can with the Charge Buster. Charge Buster is great. It's powerful. You don't want to lose it, get hit with it while charging, because I think you'd lose it. And it is possible to hit Starman even with the shield if you're right in front of him, or we saw Kumba there, like even within through the shield there. So Ppot's got him down, and Kumba's got him down, and this is looking really good so far. And both got the gravity skip jump too there, so excellent. Okay, so next should be Gravity Man, when we'll see the super arrow put to use. And I probably need to switch the music over here to Ppot since he's in the lead by a few seconds. So hold on while I do that. That was a whole lot easier than I thought it would be to do. Okay, so notice gravity here. You're on the ceiling, and this also changes your sliding controls, where you need to hit up to slide instead of down. Neat little trick that a Capcom developer just put in there. I kind of threw you off first, and that is a beautiful arrow there from Ppot. Another one here too, which skips a decent section here. Not a huge section, perhaps. What can be kind of a rough section with that big purple enemy there, whose name completely escapes me. But every Mega Man game's pretty much got one of those big guys in it in various levels, and tradition. So Kumba's gonna grab that letter because pretty much it's the fastest thing to do, and pretty much the only thing to do in some ways there. It's really hard not to get it, to be honest. You have to be really going out of your way. So Starman's weapon is great on Gravity Man. You can ram into him with it if you want. It's probably better and smarter to just toss it at him as much as possible, as you won't get shot in the process. So Ppot's done with gravity, Kumba's in there, and Kumba's energy is pretty low, so he's got to kind of watch out here. I mean, oh! I probably spoke too soon. Alright, so Kumba has to redo the gravity fight now, and he only has a bit less than half of his weapon energy, so we'll see what he does to compensate if he has to. Ooh, and he missed one there too. Ooh, it's kind of hurts when these things happen. It's kind of rough. Probably had to go to the Mega Buster. Yep, I've had to do this too. Meanwhile, so that's it for Kumba and Gravity Man. So Gyro Man stage has composed of an elevator, a bunch of platforming, a really slow elevator, and the Gyro Man fight itself. This is a great level for using your super arrow at. Note, so the super arrow drains pretty quickly. However, if you can slide or stay on a certain, keep moving around the tip of it, a lot of times the energy will go down a lot slower. A lot being relative to how fast it was going down before. So that definitely helps you get through some of these areas, because there's a lot of long horizontal sections in here. Now normally you'd probably want to use it here too, but there's a letter coming up, and it looks like we've just had a bit of a resync or freeze for a second. It's resyncing, okay, thank you. So, yeah, that letter there is a bit rough to get sometimes, because it's very easy to just fall right down and, fall right down the pit. So I don't know if this is resync or if, Ppot's having some trouble maybe, I'm not sure. Like, oh! Kumba's arrow got taken out by one of those enemies, and he has to compensate, but he does it very well. He finds the platform, he doesn't stop, he keeps going, excellent. Okay, so Gyro Man is weak to Gravity Man's weapon. You don't want to fire it off too fast, because if you do while Gyro Man is invulnerable, he will not take damage, and you will not have enough gravity hold to kill him. Or defeat him, however you wish to think of it as. So, Kuma's on the slow elevator with the spikes. There's nothing you can really do to speed this up as far as I know, aside from staying alive and being at the exit. So we got Rush Jet and the Gyro attack. Rush Jet will be useful later on here and there. So, Crystal Man stage come up. There's two ways to do Crystal Man. Okay. Looks like I have some from Quality Prompts of Ppot here. So for the time being, I will switch the audio back over to Kumba just to be safe. And I'll keep an eye and see how Ppot's stream does. This happens to the best of us. Okay, so as I was saying, there's two ways to do Crystal Man stage. There's a way Ppot's doing it, which is going through it and taking out the enemies, staying alive, grabbing the letter. And there's what Kumba's going to be doing, which is, or at least I assume he's going to be doing it since he hasn't been getting the letters, and that's skip the stage by dying. Now, I know that sounds really weird, but, you know, in Mega Man 2, there were places you could die and end up somewhere else, and I don't know how it works completely here. Tempest mentioned in the first round that it has to do with memory overflow or something. I like to think of it as Mega Man just invisibly running through the rest of the level and you not having to do a thing. But you take enough damage off these enemies here, and then we're going to fire off an arrow. And that is somehow it's going to cause us to get hit by this bouncing ball enemy, and now we just wait. And as I said, in my mind, Mega Man is just running through the rest of the level like nothing's happened and can't be stopped. Meanwhile, Ppot's just took out Crystal Man. If you notice, I don't know if he did, but normally you want to jump into Crystal Man's attack there because that will prevent lag. Think of it like Gemini Man's laser, just not as bad. But hitting some of those extra crystals gets rid of the lag. Gyro attack is great. You can move it up, you can move it down, you fire it. It's not stuck going left or right. So, Ppot's on the way to Napalm Man, and we are waiting, and Kumba is waiting for Mega Man to figure out where he is in the level. Alright, Napalm Man's level. Okay, so Kumba's taking the damage there, and he is taking out Crystal Man with no problem. Okay, Napalm Man's level. Tiger's hurt. There's spikes. There's plenty of ways to die. There's some one-hit kill things. I've totally ran into them before. I'm sure other players have too. I don't know if these guys have or not. Doesn't matter if they have. Anyways, waterfalls, water. Kind of like a conveyor, it kind of moves you, kind of pushes you back some. So I remember it doing so. I haven't played this game for a few weeks since my race. Which, yeah, I didn't advance, which is fine. Yeah, I think everyone kind of has different goals into going to these tournaments and playing. My goal is just to get better at the game and be able to be within a certain amount of time, which I haven't done yet, but I have gotten better. I think everyone has been in this tournament so far. At least I hope everyone has. So, gravity hold. Oh! Ppot. Oh! Ppot takes out the missile with the gravity hold, but then he hits the spikes. Oh, this gives Kumba a chance to catch a bit of a chance to catch. Oh, never mind. That'll be a bit more difficult. Kumba just got one hit by those by the spike dozers, and ooh, back to the beginning, back to the Tigers. Napalm Man stage hurts. It's a fun stage if you know what you're doing. It's got some good music. It's, you know, but it's got a lot of things that can just kill you fast, and you know, damage boosting through is good, but you know, it's sometimes things don't go right. Those missiles come out of those holes every time. It's easy to forget that sometimes, except for that there's no one in that last hole for some reason. Okay, so Napalm Man can do two things. He can shoot missiles at you, or he can shoot napalm bombs at you. You want him to shoot missiles, it's faster. Napalm bombs take longer, it makes him jump further into the air. You gotta wait for an explosion. There you go, there were some napalm bombs there. If you noticed, Ppot kept his crystal large instead of breaking it off to prevent lag. So Kumba's gotten past the checkpoint now for the level, and is trying to get rid of the missiles. Gravity Hold. Gravity Hold is great because it gets rid of flying enemies. Just sends them right off the screen. I'm not sure what the purpose of Rush Coil here is. I honestly don't know it. This is something I haven't seen before. Oh, whoa, okay. That is cool, except for the death. Unless that was intentional. I don't think it was, because he's pretty far back again. So, Stone Man stage. In the tradition of Hardman and Tunnel Rhino, here's a good long level that takes place in a cave-like area. You got these blocks here that are destroyable, and what do you know? One of your letters is right behind it. There's one level in each. There's 7 letters in one number. That's 8 total, and they're each in one level. You spell that and you get Beat. Beat's the bird that will help you later on in the game if you want him, if you decide to get him. In this game, he destroys enemies, and other ones he takes you out of pits, and it kind of varies. I don't recall at all what he does in Mega Man 6, to be honest. I haven't played that for a long time either, which is my fault. So, ooh, notice the crystal bounce out on Kumba's side, how slow things got there for a second. It's the NES, and there is lag sometimes. So, Ppot's just cruising through Stone Man stage here, through this pretty open area, pretty long horizontal stretch. Kumba's doing pretty good here with Napalm Man and got him down. No bombs at all. Excellent. Okay. Let's continue going here with Stone Man. Rush Jet's pretty nice. He does what you expect him to do in this game. Rush Coil's weird. It bounces when you jump on him, which can throw you off if you're not ready. Again, we got some more Gravity Hold being used here by Ppot to get rid of the various enemies. So Stone Man is a pretty simple fight. He's either going to jump really high and crumble into the ground, or he's going to jump low and then jump again. And sometimes he'll throw a Power Stone at you, like that. Or at least put it in place. It doesn't move like your Power Stone will here in a bit. We got a crumble there. We got another... Oh, he stopped that crumble. Okay, so that's it for Stone Man. So Charge Man will be next. It's time to board the choo-choo for Ppot. So Kumba's heading through Stone Man now. You want a lot of good crisp movement in here. You want to keep going, of course, as much as you can. Kill what enemies you have to. Some get in your way, some you can just completely avoid. Pretty much anything on the ceiling in there you can avoid. Let's see. If he'll take out the squeaks here. Ooh, he took out one of them. Okay. Oh, nice on a Ppot side there, skipping these enemies right at the start of the level. And notice how he just hangs around the edge of the arrow. And now, did you get the right height for this? I think he did. It's a bit tricky. Yes, he's just totally skipping past all these enemies here on the train, and Kumba's skipping past a lot here too. Okay, so the chicken room here for a Ppot on the train. Those little egg enemies will follow you, and they will follow you until you destroy them or you die, or maybe they go off the screen and who knows, maybe they turn around. They're annoying, so sometimes you gotta get rid of them. Crystal Eye is great for destroying them. The big chickens. Just 1 or 2 hits. That jump's a bit tricky sometimes to get the A. You know, it's like the game kind of wants you to use Rush Coil, but you really don't need to. You can make the jump without it. So Stone Man. So Kumba's heading to Stone Man. Ppot's on the second train top. Those trains with the Mets on them are invincible until they fire, but as soon as they fire, you can take them out with 1 hit. They're very weak. Okay, so that's it for Stone Man for Kumba. Okay, so we're gonna start Charge Man off here, probably with a charge shot or 2. Yes, and then we'll switch to Power Stone. Power Stone will circle around the screen, take up more and more space on it until it leaves, or if you pause and then it goes away. When Charge Man gets dark, orange-reddish like that, he's about to fire or charge at you, and no, it's just firing, I think. And essentially, you cannot hurt him at that moment. But Charge Man's down for Ppot, so he's hanging on to the 8th Robot Master, Wave Man. He's got the Charge Kick, so if he uses it, it will use some weapon energy, but he'll have this nice little crescent at the end of his slide that will damage enemies and give him some invulnerability, too, in some spots. Okay, so Kumba's using some arrow here, too, and oh, just slides right under that enemy and is going on. Okay. It is hard to, I don't know, I'm not good at getting that arrow in the right spot. It's like once in a blue moon for me. So we can see Ppot here switching over to the Charge Kick to go through the steam here and through the spike. Hasn't taken any damage yet, so it's working. So Kumba's got his Crystal Eye out and is taking out the chickens and the squeaks here inside the train. Okay, so Ppot's pulling out his arrow, so it looks like he'll probably be going for the bubble skip here. So what's supposed to happen, you're supposed to wait for that big bubble that just popped up and ride that on the screen, and then wait for another big bubble and ride that, and then jump on some smaller bubbles, but Ppot's just going to climb right up with the super arrow. Now he's probably going to try to skip the cutscene here that puts him on the boat, and he got it. Okay, so Ppot can now run off the screen, as you saw. Don't worry, he's still around. He can pause the game, which you cannot do if you are on that boat, and he can shoot to the left, which you cannot do if you are on the boat. This is great. This is fast. It saves seconds of getting on the boat and getting off the boat. There's only one problem. He dies. I believe it's a soft lock. And you don't want that to happen. And you don't want to miss the letter, too, that will be after this mid-boss coming up. It's probably the worst one to miss. So, Ppot's at that mid-boss now. He's got a lot more movement he can do. It's a lot easier to avoid that guy's shots. Kumba just took out Charge Man. Okay, so we're in the next phase of the auto-scroller for Ppot. Got these dolphins got dolphins and some of the guys on their own boats here. And at some point, the eighth letter slash number will be in here. I believe it's either an M or R, I think, depending which version you're playing. Oh, that's an O, maybe. Or is that a C? I can't tell from here. Anyways, it's a letter. He got it, so he's good. He's got beat. Kumba is on his way now into Wave Man, and we'll see what tricks he tries to pull off. It's been a nice Wave Man level from Ppot here. See if we can get Wave Man down with no problem. Yep, no problem. Those water things kind of hurt, and you gotta risk sometimes, you might run right into Wave Man, but, he's done. He's on the Darkman levels to Proto Man's castle. Okay, so, Ooh. Kumba was trying the bubble skip or some form of it, and he fell. Okay, so he might just be taking this the intended slash slow way now. Yep. No. It's sometimes better to just go to the intended way and then keep trying to do it the fast way, especially because you only have so much super arrow ammo. You don't want to burn an M-Tank yet, and I don't think he has one. Oh, okay. Well, there goes the super arrows. That does happen sometimes. Sorry, sad to see that. Okay, so Kumba's doing it the old-fashioned way. He's on the boat. Meanwhile, Ppot here going around through Proto Man's castle. It's gonna be Darkman. It's gonna be it looks like Proto Man, but it's actually Darkman. And so I was not aware until watching this first race just how much good use of a rush jet there is here, because I'm always trying to use super arrow, and I mean, certain places I knew to use rush jet, like the disappearing blocks we'll be seeing in a bit, but this is actually really neat, some of this rush jet here. To me, it is, at least as a casual who just plays the game on occasion for fun. Okay, Kumba's at the mid-boss. Kumba's destroyed the mid-boss. So we got the Yoku blocks coming up here. They're only in 2 rooms in this game. There are some of them. That's the easy room. That room, you don't want to let them spawn sometimes because they'll push you off if you're not lucky. And we're on our way to Darkman 1, the Dark Tank, whose weakness is Wave Man's weapon. And you shoot it, he shoots back, typically. And he'll try to run you over at some point too, At least it seems like that. He definitely picks up speed the more damage he takes, but Ppotdot takes care of him. He's got health left. Nothing to worry about there. So, Kumba's heading into Wave Man now. And, he's not using... doesn't have Charge Man's weapon up for some reason. He's going with, okay, now he does. Might be faster and easier to get over that way. Might be better. Take less damage, perhaps. I'm not sure. Well, Wave Man's down. Kumba's kind of close to losing his health there. Close to losing another life. Okay, so Darkman 2, the trains are back. These floating things are around. They take several buster shots. The tank only takes one once it started firing at you. We got some floating conveyors come up and some spikes and some flying enemies. Easy way to do this gravity hold. Probably faster way to do is probably just with the buster like that, and make sure you get that slide there because you don't want to miss that ladder. And these crystal guys, you can just go right through them or avoid that last one altogether. So we have a sizable lead here now due to the deaths and some falls and the fall from Kumba here. Unfortunately, this race is pretty good though. I mean, it was very close to the beginning, and you know, anything can happen. You know, so there's still a lot that can go on there. There's a lot of game left here. So Darkman 3's got some rough stuff in it. Wild's got some weird stuff. There's the boss refight skip and stuff. So there's a lot that can go on. So ooh, that might have been intentional actually. And these tigers here, you don't want to mess with them. Just let them hop around where they will and take them out if you need to. So we're heading on to the Dark Walker, as I call him, or Darkman 2. This guy's got a shield that kind of goes back and forth, and he'll launch at you sometimes. Beat is probably the best thing to use on him. It's the fastest thing to use on him. You could use Napalm Bomb or Crystal Eye as well, which will do some damage, but those are a lot slower, and I don't think they do as much damage. Kumba just breezing on through Darkman 1 here. In Darkman 3, you got 4 long sections in it, 4 long horizontal sections that are outside and several inside areas, and a checkpoint in a decent, but it's probably not the best still, but you know, you work with what you have. So these flying guys can be annoying if you let them hang around too long. They will get you on those ladders eventually. Ppotdot did not give them a chance to. There goes Darkman 1 for Kumba. Just pull out the water wave and shoot. I'm assuming it's called water wave. There might be something else. Again, I need to do my research on this and the names. Okay, got some nice arrow usage here by Ppotdot, using staying on that edge again, so he's not using up all the energy because he's going to want it for the next horizontal area, and maybe even the one after that. Okay, so does he have it right? He gets a slide, and I think he's right above the spikes. Beautiful. Okay, so typically, casually, probably use Rush Jet there because you want to save the arrow for the next long outside section. At least that's what I do. But these guys know what they're doing a whole lot better than I do, and they're a lot more experienced and a whole lot better at the game. So, okay, so let's see. Now we got the last outdoor section. Kumba's heading into the conveyors here. He's doing good so far. Oh, that's oh, nice slide. Okay. I would not shoot that far, think about shooting it that low and doing that. I just aim for the wall and despawn the arrow by pausing. Okay, Dark 3, gyro attack. He's weak to. It's good because he likes to jump high. He shoots these freezing rings, spaghettios, Fruit Loops, whatever you want to call them. They hit you, you get glued in the sky. I don't know, they're almost like glue in some ways. You just get stuck where you're at until you get jumped on or shot. Kind of like Flashman, as Tempest said in the previous race. Kumba took a death here in Darkman 2. I did not catch where that was, unfortunately. But that's going to set him back some. Yeah, checkpoints are kind of not... There's not a lot of them in these levels. And you die in certain places and you got a long way to go. So, we are at Darkman 4 for Ppotdot. A shortest level in the game, probably. Destroy the blocks, watch the tower crumble, and don't get killed by the spikes. Proto Man whistles and beckons and shoots you, which is not a very brotherly thing to do. But wait, there's another Proto Man? How can this be? Oh, it was Darkman all along. What do you know? So there is the unique L tank, which completely refills your health, just like an E tank, except it's L for some reason. Yeah, maybe Proto Man can't carry E tanks, just L ones. Anyways, you want to use Beat here. It takes Darkman 4 out really fast and easily, and yeah. The only problem with Beat is if Beat misses, Beat's weapon energy can go down sometimes, and then you don't have enough to kill certain things, but that's mainly the final boss. So, translation, until now I've used Proto Man, I've used Proto Man to cover a frame for my crimes, whatever, something like that. If you want to see I've kidnapped Dr. Lot. If you want to see him, come to my castle. That's essentially what it says, something like that. 18-second difference between the Japanese and the American version. With Darkman 2 just took out Kumba. Ooh, is that Kumba's last life? No, it is not. Okay, thankfully. I mean, he could just restart at Darkman 2, but he wouldn't be at the checkpoint. So, oh yeah, he doesn't have Beat here, so he's probably gonna use the Mega Buster. I don't think I've ever done this fight, just the Buster. I'll have to try that sometime. So, Ppot's on his way here is now in Wily 1. He's got another E-Tank, he's got an M-Tank, so he can refill his weapons as needed. Your weapon energy does not refill between castle levels or between the Darkman and Wily stages. That is something that was pretty much exclusive to Mega Man X games, I believe. And I don't know if they even refilled I don't think they refilled in Mega Man 7 or 8. I haven't played 8, 9, 10, or 11, so no comment on those because I don't know. Anyways, so he just used the M-Tank there to refill all his weapon energy. It gives you everything back. Oh, and Kuma took a death there in Dark 3. That's easy to do, unfortunately. This game is not super hard, but it can be difficult if things get out of control. Okay, so we're at the Crusher here for Ppot. There's walls. There's like these destroyable walls in certain places. You don't have to destroy all of them, just enough to be able to move. Nice slide right through those. Okay, chicken skip maybe? Oh, we jumped them. Okay, Kuma's having to do some of this on foot here through this section. Okay, you got these kind of iffy jumps here for Ppot with the ceiling being a bit low. Okay, we're on our way to Big Pez. I'm not exactly sure which one it is. So his weakness is Crystal Eye. He only is vulnerable when one of his two sections is in the air, which is why you see Ppot shoot the bottom out, then hop up from that onto the back side of the boss and just fire away. Okay, I believe Kuma just used his M-Tank as well. Either maybe an E-Tank, one of the two. So I heard some refilling. It's awesome. Alright, so, okay, so let's see. He's... Oh! So he's going to have to, So what Kumba's trying to do here is, I believe, is use Rush Coil and then switch right to an arrow to skip this area. Oh, and he got it! Nice! Is it high enough? Is it too low? It's just right. Okay, just pause, unpause, your arrow dissolve, despawns, you're fine. Okay, Ppot's in the underwater section of Wily 2. You got these wheels here. They kind of like to move you off a bit. They're not too bad. Water just, moves kind of hampered a bit because of it, of course. That's not too bad. And we're almost to dry land here. There we are. There's one more screen. Okay, so these Mets are like the ones in Stone Man. They turn into 3 when you destroy them, the 3 small ones. Ppot not even waiting for those enemies to wake up. He's just gonna keep on going. Kumba's heading on to Darkman 4. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Okay, nice jet over the chicken there. Nice jet past the big green dude. I need to learn how to do that. I don't know how many times I've died to that guy or how many weapons I've wasted on him. Okay, so we're on our way to C29XB3, something like that. Floating Head of Doom. Its weakness is gyro attack. You got those walls there. Okay, they stayed open a lot more this time. That's a better fight, I think, this time for Ppotdot than it was the last time. Because I believe that fight definitely went faster for him. Kumba is here at Darkman 4, and again, he doesn't have beat. So it looks like he's going to buster his way through it. We'll see if that changes at any point. Darkman 4 is kind of like Darkman 2 and Darkman 1. Except he doesn't wait for you, except he'll shoot regardless of whether you are or not, I believe. And actually, he hasn't shot for a while here. But he does the shield like Darkman 2 does. Alright, so Ppotdot has gone straight to Napalm Man. That means he's probably going for the refight skip. So he's going to clear Napalm Man here. And then he's going to fire a super arrow and somehow use that to break through the wall to the other side where the Wily Press happens to be waiting because Capcom put the room at the to the right of the bosses. I didn't even know this was a thing until I saw the showcase race right before this tournament started. That shows how little I know about the game. I'm not even sure when it was discovered, to be honest. Anyways, so there's several ways you can do this. You can just wait for Wily. You could use the arrows like Ppotdot's doing and use your use the star shield on him. That works. Buster works. Takes a while though, and you end up doing some sliding here and there, but it's not too bad. So Kumba's heading into Wily 1. Well, Ppotdot's heading into Wily 4, the last level. So there's a couple enemies in this level, just to kind of annoy you and take out your energy before you get to the boss. There are no E-tanks or M-tanks left in the game, as far as I know, that you can get to now. So what you have is what you have. Okay, so Super Arrow is the tank's weakness. The tank can do several things. It can fire missiles. It can shoot balls at you. Or, yeah, there's a bouncing ball, and it can do a vacuum. So I'll switch this over to Ppotdot, even though he's having some quality problems still since this is the final fight. Okay, so we're using Beat here. And Beat will charter on Wily. Sometimes he'll just move around, waiting for him. Sometimes he'll know exactly where he is and be waiting for him. He can hit him twice, and apparently we're switching over now to Buster for some reason. Did Beat run out or something? Ppotdot's going to use Gravity Hold to figure out where Wily's going to spawn at so we can see him ahead of time. Because if not, you really don't know until it happens. Kumba's making his way through Wily 1. And GG Ppotdot. He takes the game. He takes it to Zip. Let me mark that. Someone already did for me. Thank you. I will see about inviting Ppotdot to come in here and talk if I can. So I find the information on it. Well, he's already marked as done, so I can't hit that or I'd undo it. As I said, a GG to Ppotdot. It's an excellent run. Death in there, it's fine, it happens. So Kumba's still making his way here through Wily 2, and he just took a death. Yeah, those wheels and spikes get you sometime. So Ppot's made it. Kumba's made it through the water. We're off to dry land again. Energy's a bit low, so kind of be careful there. You got the squeak that really is in a bad spot, but he avoids them. Gonna go on here. Yeah, that energy is really convenient to have. It does not respawn if you die, though, I believe. Just go past the chicken and do some more energy, unfortunately, but, well, that's what you gotta do. So, avoid the green guy. That one's a lot easier to avoid there. Heading into the boss here of Wily 2. Again, you can only hit this boss if the shields are open, if the walls are open, I believe. And these platforms can be helpful, they can be a hindrance sometimes. Depends on where everything's at. Got a lot of orange balls flying around here, but the boss is down. Oop. Hey, I think Ppot's about ready to talk to us here. Whenever you are ready. Meanwhile, Kumba is taking out a Napalm Man here with the Mega Buster. Don't know if he was running low on Crystal Eye or... Oh, he totally was. He's out. Okay. He's got to use an M-Tank here because he's out of Super Arrow as well. And he gets right through that wall and we're off to the Wily Press. So many tabs up, I keep forgetting where I'm at. Okay, so Wily Press. We're using Starman's shield on him. Star Shield. Goes back and forth a bunch of times. Then he decides to land. I've always found it kind of difficult to use the shield on him, but that's just me, and it's a timing thing, I think. I just end up usually use the Buster, which works too. And oh, see, it's easy to get that shield just a bit low. But this fight is almost over, and then Kumba will be on to Wily 4. Yep. And that was a very fast transition out, which might have to do with the skip, maybe, I'm not sure. Anyways, Wily 4, 2 walkers, 1 thing that shoots stuff at you, the Wily Tank, and the Wily Capsule, and then that is it. Kumba's prepping the Super Arrow here for the Wily Tank. which definitely is its weakness. You know, the game gives you this thing, and it doesn't really tell you when or where to use it, but you kind of just figure it out, you know? So we'll probably see a lot of switching now between the Mega Buster and Gravity Man's weapon to figure out where Wily's going to spawn. Or we're just gonna play the random game here and wait. And Kumba has forfeited. He's decided to not finish this run. And he's gotten the game over. Alright. Pot's gonna move on. And let's see who wants to talk. GG GG Ppotdot. What? Sorry, I've been tripping on your name all day.
It's all right. You can just call me Ppotdot if you want.
Ppotdot. Okay. I even had it written down at somewhere. Yeah, but GG's, man.
Thanks. Yeah,
so,
go ahead.
So, how do you think your races went with the first and the second one?
My first race was a lot cleaner for sure. Just like my movement felt a little bit better overall. There were still some slop in spots, and Dark 3 was a tragedy. I fixed Dark 3 in the second run, but everything else was a lot worse. But overall, can't really complain about either of those runs too much. I died in Napalm on the second run because I got greedy. I let go of my jump a little bit too early, and I was trying to greed for some extra frames, landing on the very left edge, and then the lag went away and I died.
Yeah, I noticed that, and so heading into Napalm, Kumba had been actually very, very close to you. He had, I think, like an earlier death or something, but then had used the crystal skip, and he was almost just several seconds behind, but you have that death, and then he has a death he dies to those spikes there, and after that it kind of just went, and now Kumba's back to his ROM hacks, and you're going on to face, I believe it's Resisting Frame.
Yeah.
I think.
The match versus RF should be a pretty good one overall. He's been improving pretty steadily here, so I'm looking forward to seeing his progress coming up. I think he'll do better than he thinks he will.
That's good. Good. Hopefully we'll have another some good close races here. Today's were pretty good too, so regardless of how the second one ended up going. So what are you kind of planning on doing in the next one here? Maybe a bit differently, things to work on.
Well, for coming up to the next one, I just need to work on a couple things. Like, both of my gyros were pretty bad in these races, so probably something to work on there. And then just continue working on my consistency. I didn't get either of my Dark Room ones, and that's something I'm disappointed in. I got Room 3 both times, at least the upper path, but Room 1 both times I didn't get. So just got to keep working on getting consistency, and then hopefully we can get a PB at some point here. My current PB has a death in Dark 3 still, so try to try to salvage that so I'm not top 5 time with a death.
Yeah, it's very easy to die in Dark 3. It's easy for things to
it
get
is.
things get out of things get out of control very quickly, especially on that first screen.
Yeah, there's a reason it's called the Widowmaker, or it's colloquially called the Widowmaker. There's like the inputs in it aren't as hard as Dark 1's are, but any mistake is a huge. It's either a death or a huge time loss. So.
And I've noticed, like, Dark 1, a lot of it's about really mastering, Rush Jet. With Dark 3, it's pretty much all, the super arrow and making sure, you're keeping that as much as you can.
Yeah. The arrow ammo management in Dark 3 is pretty important. Making sure that you have enough for both of your long flights. There's a couple things that you kind of like. You're forced to do if you are low on ammo to make sure that you have enough. I actually had to take the deboost both times in Dark 3 on the Thumper, excuse me, to make sure I had any ammo for the first long flight.
Yeah, and I noticed the second race you got the room with the green snake in it and stuff. You got the double arrow there and were able to cruise past the spikes too. So that's always pretty cool to see. You had mentioned
that's one of the cooler arrows in the run for sure.
Yeah, you mentioned a Gyro Man earlier. What parts of that do you kind of want to work on? Because I know there's a lot of long horizontal sections in there, but there's some kind of iffy vertical stuff too.
Yeah. So, in the second run, my brain just totally turned off on what to do for room 3. Like I missed the jump off the ladder. Even if I had gotten the jump off the ladder, my brain just did not remember what the strat was as I was doing it. So I had to completely abandon and go for the backup. I guess in general for Gyro, it's just like make sure that I'm not losing time on the stage that it should be easy, but is impossible.
Yeah, there's a big difference there between going casual fast and going trying to go fast in Gyro Man, and you don't realize it until you try to go fast, and then when you die, it's you're feeling that elevator ride.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next races when they get scheduled up.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything scheduled after this one here. Not sure what's going on there, but well, you know who you're playing next, so you know what you can do and what you need to do, so that's good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next race.
Yeah.
I'm ready for your RF.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it. Okay, anything else?
I think that'll be it for me.
Okay, it looks like Tempest is joining us again here. Let's see what he has to say.
Right, I just wanted to be here for the final bit of it, and also great timing too, because good news, power's back on. So, congratulations, Ppot. I think you definitely did great pulling through, and I totally understand the whole brain turning off situation as someone whose thought process is forgot to do the arrow trick during Stone Man in his second race.
Yeah.
But yeah. Warren, thank you very much for handling the mantle solo, and GG's
thanks for the commentary for sure.
You're welcome.
No problem. And GG's to Kumba as well. So Ppot, you will be taking on RF next, and we should have some more races planned within the brackets soon enough. With that, we're gonna sign out. Warren, have you any final words before we do?
Stay tuned for the rest of the games, and keep on doing what you do.
And Ppot?
Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you next time.
Sounds good. Also, GG on defeating Squeaks. He knows what he did. All right, everyone. Have a good night.